I think we've got a romanticised view of 19th century Suffolk as being a very pleasant place to live, as genteel, and cosy as it is today. But I think we forget that it was a very grim place for many people, particularly, the agricultural poor. And that biting rural poverty, manifested itself in poor working conditions, appalling housing and sanitation. And of course, it led to lots of disease and early death. And also the thing that I'm most interested in, crime. It gave rise to peculiar and particular crimes in the rural area like poaching, smuggling, even body snatching, and occasionally gave rise to murder as well. It wasn't a pleasant place or time to live, I'm afraid. I think, it was in the smugglers' interest to create an impression that there were sort of ghostly figures and apparitions to keep people away from their haunts. I certainly think that's a factor. I wouldn't say it fully explains, all the occurrences and ghost stories. You have to remember Suffolk, as elsewhere, had a very rich oral tradition. People like to tell interesting tall tales. They got embellished over time. We sometimes lost the roots of the stories, but they've been interesting nevertheless. And, through the course of history, they've withstood the test of time. They're still great stories that should be told. I think my favourite local tale would be one that's not been given too much attention, but it's the Waveney River Monster. Marvellous tale of two koi pew catchers who are out in a boat doing their profession and came across what they described as a large, gruesome, fearsome-looking creature with a moose's head swimming in the River Waveney. I mean, it's such a lovely tale. I would initially have been sort of quite sceptical about the story, but I actually knew one of the individuals in the boat, and he's a very trustworthy individual. But I think that's my favourite. The idea that we've got some large, very strange creature roaming about the waterways just seems absolutely priceless to me.